Welcome to the BTS Presents show. This month's episode is Santa Cruz Sister Cities, past, present, and future. And now we have visitors from our sister city of Alushta, Ukraine. We have three lovely ladies. We have Katya, Tatiana, and Anastasia, who have just arrived here. Katya and Tatiana are here. They've been here one day already. Tell us about what you're going to be doing here in Santa Cruz.
We're going to be ride operators on a boardwalk, as we came here to do work and travel program. It's cultural exchange program. So we're going to enjoy staying here and see the Santa Cruz.
Wonderful. How long will you stay here?
Yeah, we're gonna stay here for 3 months, for the whole summer.
Wow, great. What is your background that you've done before coming here?
We are students. We are studying on the third year of university in international economics.
Great. We're so glad to have you here. It's going to be a great summer for you.
Thank you.
And Anastasia, you're here for a special reason. I've heard that you're a very good pianist. What is the reason you came to Santa Cruz?
Я приехала на международный конкурс русской музыки, который пройдет в городе Сан-Хосе.
Good.
She came here for international competition of Russian music, which is gonna be in San Jose.
Thank you for coming to Santa Cruz. I'm sure you're going to have a great summer. So it's great to have all three of you ladies. We hope you have a great visit in Santa Cruz. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I've been working with international students at the university for 20 years, and I met one student. He's Godfrey Kasozi from Uganda. He did a UCSC farm internship in 1999, and he runs an educational center in Uganda training 2,000 farmers a year. Because of my friendship with him, when he comes back to visit Santa Cruz, which he's done fairly often to do fundraising, networking for his educational center, then I've helped bringing him around to different agencies in Santa Cruz. So he and another friend started an application to become a sister city with his city of Kasese, Uganda, and Santa Cruz, and that's how I became involved with sister cities. I want to welcome our two Friendship City delegates who are here this week visiting Santa Cruz from Kasese, Uganda. We have two Godfreys, Godfrey Kasozi, who's been my friend for 14 years now, and Mayor Godfrey, the mayor of Kasese. How is your visit going so far, Mayor Godfrey?
It's going so fine. Since I reached here yesterday, I've enjoyed Santa Cruz.
Yesterday?
I found the people hospitable. Everything is so good, mainly the greenery. The way a town is built in the forest. I really enjoy it. The road network is so good. I have learned a lot within a very short time. But the most important thing, you have very lively people. What I will do in appreciation is to go and transform Kasese to be like Santa Cruz.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Godfrey, you've been in Santa Cruz many times. How's this visit going?
Peggy, this is a very wonderful visit. As you know, I've come here several times, and this is like my second home. This has been a very unique visit because I never come with many people. But this time we are a group of 5 delegates from Uganda, and we have had lots of openings. People of Santa Cruz have been very good people, and the network is growing bigger and bigger, and I'm so happy for what you people are doing for us and the welcome parties you're making for us, the churches, and all the wonderful places where you're taking us.
And thank you both for coming, and we are having a wonderful visit with you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
What is Sister Cities International? Sister Cities International is a 56-year-old network of U.S. cities, communities, states that have partnerships around the world. And we were started by President Dwight Eisenhower back in 1956. And we consist of over 500 U.S. cities that have 2,000 partnerships in 136 countries.
And I heard that every president from Eisenhower to Obama has served as the honorary chairman.
What we can do with this network is truly amazing because those are long-term connections. Things happen, relationships evolve, but these cities, if they're serious about trade and international development, they utilize these sister cities networks, and you will see the benefits grow exponentially.
I'd like to introduce my colleagues. We have the committee chair, Deborah Lerman, Bill Denovan, and Nancy Idem.
Hello.
Nancy is going to tell us about the Sister Cities past.
Our first sister city in Santa Cruz was established in 1958, and this was a sister city relationship in Corsica, in Ajaccio. Don't ask me why they chose this city, except it would be a nice ocean place. But unfortunately, it lasted only 2 years, and then the sister city relationship was canceled. We did not get back into the Sister City program until 1966, and at that time the Sister Cities Committee was established. The City Council had several members of the Rotary Club on it, and they felt that there was a wonderful city in Venezuela, an oil-producing city with a fantastic Rotary Club that wanted to pair with us. So this was our actual first successful Sister City relationship. And we did several exchanges. One of the most exciting exchanges was a group of students that actually sailed with one of the Santa Cruz High School's teachers down through the Panama Canal and over to Puerto La Cruz, Venezuela. Our next sister city relationship was in 1973, and that was with Santa Cruz de Tenerife in the Canary Islands. This is a very large city of about 1 million people, and I believe the reason they asked us to pair with them was simply because of the similarity of our names and the fact that we were on the west coast of the United States, and they felt there might be some chance of a business set up with them. Our city manager at the time and our mayor, Bert Muley, traveled to Santa Cruz de Tenerife and established this relationship, which lasted for quite a few years, but then was recently canceled because of inactivity and the fact that really a city of 1 million people and Santa Cruz was not a proper pairing. Our next sister city was Shingu, Japan, and this was established in 1974, meaning we will celebrate our 40th anniversary with that city next year. The reason for this sister city was because of the Aikido martial arts school that was there. Several students in Santa Cruz were studying, and they wanted to go to the center of the Aikido. And so this sister city relationship was developed and is extremely active, has been very successful over the years. In 1980, our mayor was Joe Gio, a descendant of one of the Italian families that came here in the early 1900s, and they asked that we establish a sister city relationship with Sestri Levante, Italy. And so this was done. Joe Gio traveled to Sestri and established a relationship. Unfortunately, once Sestri became part of the European common market, they lessened our relationship. They would rather work with the European cities that they have and establish those relationships. So we still have good friendships there, but not any active programs. Our next one was Alushta, Ukraine, and this was established in 1987 when actually Alushta was part of the Soviet Union. And this was an interesting one because a special office was set up in the White House under President Reagan to have USSR, USA sister city relationships. And Santa Cruz was the 13th relationship that was recognized between these two countries, a very great honor for us. Our last sister city relationship was in 1995, and this was Jinotepe, Nicaragua. And this has been a very interesting relationship, more of a humanitarian project where we have sent down an ambulance and 2 garbage trucks. That is the history of sister cities in Santa Cruz.
Oh, great. Thank you, Nancy. Now our chair, Deborah Lerman, will tell us about the present of Sister Cities.
Well, thank you, Peggy. This is a really busy time for Santa Cruz Sister Cities. Right now, in fact, we have 8 visitors from various sister cities in Santa Cruz, and there are lots and lots of activities going on this year. Let's start from the beginning with the city of Shingu, Japan, that Nancy mentioned. Every year, there's a delegation of middle school students from Santa Cruz that goes to Shingu usually for the spring break, and they just return from Shingu. And then in return, a group of students from Shingu comes to Santa Cruz in August. So they're getting ready to receive the students from Shingu in just a couple months. In addition to that, we have the Japanese Cultural Fair, which we always take part in at Mission Park up on the hill. And next year is going to be a very important year for Shingu, for the relationship, because it's the 40th anniversary. And we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we're planning really, really big festivities. And what I've been told is when we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the relationship with Shingu, they sent 25 delegates to Santa Cruz. So we're kind of anticipating that this time they're going to send a delegation of 40 people. Probably the other city that's most active is Alushta, Ukraine. We've had lots of delegations visiting over the past year. Last year, 2012, was the 25th anniversary of the sister city relationship, and the mayor of Alushta came to visit Santa Cruz, and there was a big celebration on the boardwalk. Out on the wharf, I mean. This year, we've had a group of young professional women. We've had an exchange group with teachers from Ukraine visiting Santa Cruz, and teachers from Santa Cruz who are planning to go and visit Ukraine next year. And we have a young woman who's a pianist, a competition pianist here in Santa Cruz, to take part in the International Russian Music Competition that's taking place in San Jose in the next couple weeks.
I've really been thrilled to be able to be part of welcoming international leaders to our city. So this year we have a delegation who are here right now from Kisesi, Uganda, and I'm taking them around town and helping them tour. And Godfrey had a saying that he taught me, pole pole, slowly, slowly, we build relationships. I've been just having a great time with Sister Cities. I joined it to help the Kisesi delegation, but I've also gotten involved with the Japanese Cultural Fair last year and the Alushta people, and we're just doing wonderful activities. It's more than just a social thing. We're really building long-term friendships that help change cities and change lives and change countries. And so I'm just really very happy to be a part of Sister Cities.
I might mention Peggy also, as well as Nancy and Debbie, have been readers for the one program that we still have a connection to Sestri Levante, Italy, and a writing contest honoring Hans Christian Andersen. And many people in Santa Cruz, young people and older people, have contributed stories. And it's been, we've been hanging on to this connection with Sestri Levante with this very popular activity.
It was fun. I got to read some of the essays and give literary critiques, and it was really a delight to be able to do that.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much for doing it. I'd like to mention, too, that an activity that I think was so impressive was a shipment of medical supplies to Alushta. And Nancy was in charge of that. I'd like to hear more about it from her.
Okay, it happened about 10 years ago. I was approached by a group called Counterpart. Actually, they had a contract with the U.S. Army bases to send containers full of humanitarian aid over. And during the course of the program, I was able to put together 4 different containers that were given an estimated value of $250,000. The hospitals of Santa Cruz and other organizations donated hospital beds, all kinds of hospital equipment. We had clothing, we had wheelchairs. The Rotary Club donated, I believe it was 10 wheelchairs for us. A fantastic outpouring from the community, and as I say, 4 different containers went free of charge for us. They were all taken by the U.S. military, sent them for us, and all the way to Alushta. And Bill and I then went on one of the delegations that was there when the containers were received, and we had the great honor and privilege of passing out, particularly the wheelchairs, to some of the people in the community. It was fantastic.
It was really a moving experience.
Right.
Some of the old gentlemen who'd been in World War II got wheelchairs. It was a very heartwarming event.
Yeah, great program. So.
And we also, Debbie mentioned the garbage trucks that were sent to Inotepe, as well as an ambulance years before. The saga of the garbage truck is really how you get it there.
Well, the city of Inotepe in Nicaragua is a little bit different as a sister city because we don't get a lot of visitors coming from there because of their poor economic situation, so they really can't afford to visit Santa Cruz, but all of us have been there to visit Inotepe, and we did receive the visit of the mayor's secretary 2 years ago, and I was lucky enough to be able to show her around for a couple of days, and I took her to the Parks and Recreation office to meet with our counterparts there at City Hall, and Danette Shoemaker said to her, "Ask for anything you want." And she said, "Okay, we want another garbage truck."
Danette was very instrumental in getting the first garbage truck.
And I was kind of shocked, and I said, maybe you could ask for something a little smaller. But that's what they wanted, and lo and behold, Danette made it happen. And so about 4 months later, used Santa Cruz City garbage truck was driven down to Nicaragua. And the following month, I went on a small delegation with Don Lane, who was the mayor at that time, and Enda Brennan, who's a member of our committee, to hand over the papers and the keys to the garbage truck, more or less. And it was really interesting. It was an interesting trip, and it was an eye-opener, I think, for the mayor of Santa Cruz to go down there and see and meet his counterparts. The people had very little, but they were very, very hospitable and really showed us a wonderful time.
I think it shows the generosity of the community also, who donated the materials for the garbage truck, or donated the garbage truck, and also the materials for the medical shipments.
And Deborah, is there an ambulance that's in the works here?
When we were down there last year, we went to visit the volunteer fire department, which is the only fire department that they have. And back in 1992, Santa Cruz had donated an ambulance, and it's no longer functional. It worked for about 15 years, and finally it was in an accident, I think, and they still have it there in the firehouse, sort of as a monument, but they asked us for another used ambulance if we can arrange it, so we're working on trying to make those arrangements, and hopefully that will happen sometime this year. Then we'll have to take another trip down there.
Yeah.
Cool.
At least it'll be a good excuse to visit again.
Yeah.
It's really like Nancy was saying, the way that President Eisenhower planned it from the very beginning. It's a person-to-person diplomacy. And Sister Cities is what you make of it through the relationships that you build. It's more than just giving equipment or medical supplies or disaster relief. It's developing the friendships.
And we've been involved in this long enough so that my granddaughter, first my daughter went on an exchange to Shingu, Japan, and then this past March, my granddaughter was able to go on the same exchange. So it's very exciting when you get two generations going on the exchanges.
People from Santa Cruz are well known in the communities that we have our relationship with. In fact, Roxy Goen, who went on the last trip to Shingu, on many trips, is an honorary citizen of Shingu.
Cynthia Matthews went, and her daughter went as well.
And her son was a delegate to our sister city in the Canary Islands when that was active. He went on a youth delegation there. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've had, I don't know how many mayors go, as well as other city officials.
Yes.
We might add, though, that everybody who travels abroad on a Sister Cities trip pays their own way, including the city officials.
Very important.
Yeah, right. I was going to say Don Lane went not only to Hinotepe, but he also went to Sestri Levante several years ago.
Yeah,
so
and Emily Riley was the star of the show in Alushta when we went.
Yes. Yeah. So, and of course, Joe Gio was the one who signed the papers in Sestri Levante. So. But it's been a fantastic experience. I mean, I was able to go to Lushta when it was part of the Soviet Union. I first went in 1987, and so I have seen fantastic changes in that development now that it's its own country of Ukraine. I was talking with our two visitors from Ukraine today and asking them about shopping centers and if they had such a thing as shopping centers, because when I first went to the Soviet Union, they hardly had merchandise to have a store. It was one stick of butter on the shelf and just a few little pans, as my daughter described it. It was like a perpetual rummage sale. You never knew what was going to be on the shelves, and there were only one or two of them at that. And now the girls today said, of course we have shopping centers, just like here. So fantastic changes there. Yeah. But it's been an incredible experience. I've been involved since 1987 and have seen a lot of changes in the cities.
Hello, my name is Natalia Mazur. I'm an open world facilitator. This show is being presented by Community Television of Santa Cruz County, Sister Cities, and now I would like to introduce Nancy Adam of the Santa Cruz Sister City Committee.
I've been involved with the committee for 25 years, and during that time I've been privileged enough to visit Alushta several times. And during the 25 years, we have had many different exchanges with our sister city, welcoming hundreds of guests from Alushta and sending, I'd say, hundreds of people from Santa Cruz to Alushta. Business delegations, educational delegations, and cultural delegations. I'm now pleased to welcome 5 young women, professional business women from Alushta, to our city, and I'd like to welcome Anna Mayuta.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! В эфире специальный выпуск программы «Алушта сегодня». И сегодня «Алушта в Америке».
Another thing about Alushta is the similarity with Santa Cruz. They have a boardwalk.
Oh.
And furthermore, it's right on the Black Sea. And they have a wine industry, as you were mentioning, nearby. And it looks like Big Sur. Around Alushta.
Yeah,
a lot
the mountains
of similarity.
come to the sea. Actually, that is one thing about most of our sister cities. Yeah. There is that tremendous similarity of most of them are right on the coast. They are small cities bordered by big mountains in the back, and there's usually a river running through the middle of the city. Very similar, and the climates are quite similar too.
Yeah. Yes. Well, they've been chosen.
Right, they've been
reason.
Selected carefully.
In fact, when I went to Sestri Levante one time, I stayed at Stagnero's Motel.
Oh. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, beautiful locations. Actually, the way we selected our sister city of Alushta was the Sister Cities Committee at that time. Several members got a photer's guide and actually went through looking for the perfect city that was a tourism city on the ocean with a good climate. And they certainly selected well.
Well, is there anything anyone else wants to add before we finish?
Sister Cities is a fantastic program. I think everyone should become involved. Once you're involved, it gets sort of in your blood, and you can't stop loving it.
I would say, how much time do you have?
30 seconds.
I'd just like to say that this is a wonderful way to be able to reciprocate the hospitality that's been shown to all of us when we travel abroad.
We want to thank the community television.
Thank you, community television.
For providing us with an opportunity to speak to the people of the city.
And now a word from our sponsor.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.